Now, we're going to dive into prospect and lead generation. And also, shortly after that section, we're going to go over marketing activities. If you want to create more predictability and credibility in your real estate business, these two sections are crucial and key to master and to fully understand. Most agents, obviously, when you're a new agent, you're definitely looking for probably more so that credibility and also that predictability piece. Now, most experienced agents, they are typically looking for a little bit more of predictability. They're probably experiencing some type of roller coaster business as of right now. My goal with these two training sections, I want to make sure you achieve getting out of that roller coaster business and also you building up that credibility because even experienced agents still may struggle with that credibility piece with some of their SOI, their friends and their family, their immediate network. So that's the goal of these two sections. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about prospecting lead generation. Now, these are some of the questions you definitely want to ask yourself because when it comes to lead generation, this is probably the most difficult piece that most agents have. Doing lead generation consistently and also some of the outcomes, essentially removing themselves from the results of what people may say or not say to them when they are lead generation. So, some of the questions that you definitely need to ask yourself and really internalize and write these questions down, just like we did in the other sections, is that do you take rejection personally? What about criticism? Do you bounce back quickly from making errors or failing over and over again? Are you prepared to take risks? And if so, moderate or big? Like what level of risk are you really willing to take? Do you stay focused on one thing and one thing only until the result you want is achieved? We asked this in the last section when it came to scheduling. Do you have the stamina to keep going long after everyone else is tired? How about even when you are tired? Do you wait for things to happen or do you aggressively go after what you want? And do you do whatever it takes to achieve your goals or just what's convenient? These questions are critical for you to ask in order to get a true picture of your nature and behavior. Again, this goes back to that foundation in the beginning, the initial slides, when I talked about training, right? The goal and the point of training, and essentially these trainings that I'm conducting for you, this course, right? Training course, is that we want to make sure that you change your behavior. If you don't change your behavior, then all of this is pointless. So this is why we want to ask you, this is why you want to ask yourself these questions and answer seriously and really start to reevaluate. Because again, what I found is that successful people are aware of the consequences of not being efficient in these areas right here, these questions that I'm asking you. And they find other ways, resources, and people to manage or even help them in these areas. So, AKA teams, right? That's what some people may build a team around maybe their weaknesses or maybe some of the tasks or the jobs that they don't want to do. They don't do as well. So they hire other people and in that place. But if you're new or you're still trying to grow your business to a certain level, you may not have that ability. So you need to ask yourself these questions and also figure out ways how you can be more efficient in these areas. Now, let's go ahead and talk more about prospecting. Prospecting, essentially, real estate overall is a contact sport, right, guys? So let me say that again. Real estate is a contact. You have to contact people sport. Okay, hopefully you guys get that. Real estate sales is a closed contact sport because without the closings, there's no profits, right? So it's a closed getting in contact with people sport. And real estate sales is a frequent and systematic close contact sport. We're going to get into the systematic throughout this section of the training and also through the marketing activities. So hope you guys realize that real estate sales is a frequent and systematic close contact sport. So if you're seeing basically you're having a roller coaster business is because you're not having enough systems or you're not being systematic enough or you're not setting up the proper systems and you're not also doing that frequently as well when it comes to contacts and making your contacts. So let's talk about lead generation. Let's talk about leads actually. Leads are fuel to your economic engine, guys. Leads are fuel to your economic engines. You need leads in order to have appointments, and you need appointments in order to have sales. So you can never have too many good leads, guys. You can never have too many good leads. And your overall goal should be when you are prospecting is to at least prospect 3 hours a day, at least 3 hours a day. If you decide to do it more, that's awesome. Ideally, you don't want to do it less, right? So that's 15 hours a week, guys. That's essentially a part-time job. So that's the goal. And the best times to do it is typically in the morning because life tends to happen when you say, hey, I'm going to prospect in the evening. But if you're a dual agent, or maybe you have an appointment in the morning, I definitely recommend trying not to schedule up client appointments in the morning because again, you need to be lead generating and you don't want the day to just go by and say, oh man, I forgot to do it, right? Or again, you may just be one of those people or individuals that's kind of like, I don't want to do it. Let's schedule this for tomorrow. So ideally, you want to at least lead generate for about 3 hours daily. 15, that's 15 hours a week. And you definitely want to try to do it in the morning times from 8 to 11 a.m. Or you may be one of those people that says, hey, I'll do it from 9 to 12. As long as it's 3 hours, guys, that's the goal. In the evenings, the best time to lead generate is from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's typically when people see the best results in the evenings. Now, if you're a dual agent, this may be your only option. If you guys listen to my most recent podcast, or I'll just say the podcast with Marlena McWilliams, I called her the queen of scheduling, pretty much is the name of the episode. She's a mega agent. She started out as a dual agent. She had a whole nother career. So she had to work from about 8 or 8:30 a.m. to about 4:30 a.m. So she had to get up. She also was raising her son as well. And she had to go to work. She had to do 40 hours a week. She'd get off around 4:30 p.m. And then from there, she would go pick up her son and do whatever else she could squeeze in that 30-minute time frame. Then she was back at home banging out phone calls from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So she was able to leave her full-time job because she was very disciplined and she stuck to that schedule. Unfortunately, she couldn't do the 3 hours a day, but she made a point to at least do 2 hours a day. She was very disciplined and stuck to that schedule. It was a lot to juggle, but she figured it out and she was able to leave her full-time job. Now she's a full-time real estate agent and a mega agent, and she's doing easily over 75 deals a year. And now she's working on building out her team as well. So it's very powerful what discipline and lead generating, what it can really do. Even for somebody that is super busy, that has another full-time job, but you have to make that your discipline, your practice, right? You have to be accountable towards your actions. And we're going to talk about accountability when we get to the accountability section. But that's just an example of why you may, hey, say, I might just do it in the evening. Now, if you are a full-time agent, I would still encourage you to get on a phone call around 4 o'clock, from 4 to 7, because again, you're supposed to be at least doing 3 hours minimum, especially if you are a full-time agent. You don't have the same excuse as a dual agent, okay? And if you happen to miss the morning times, then yes, you do it in the evening, and you also need to figure out some time on the weekend to kind of make up if you missed the 15 hours. So, like I already mentioned, 15 hours minimum a week. You can do more, that's fine. But the overall goal is 80% of your work time should be spent on the phone or in front of people. If you stay in this influential zone for the majority of your time in your business will flourish, guys. Okay. So stay in this influential zone for the majority of your time and your business will flourish. Okay. Now, the goal is to contact and talk to new people. I have to reiterate this because I talk to agents all the time and they'll be like, well, I made calls and they didn't add anybody new to their database because they're calling the same people. You should be talking to new people daily. It should not be the same people during your prospecting lead generating time, guys. So the goal is to talk to new people, add new people to your database. Okay. I just want to make sure that it's clear. And then what you can do when it comes to the follow-up piece, you can actually follow up with people and return phone calls and emails, check emails as well from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. That's the time to do it. The time to do that particular activity is not during your prospecting time. So I just want to make sure that's clear. We know, again, prospecting is in the morning or you can do it in the evening. And during that time period, you're going to be talking to who? New people, people that's already in your database that you talked to maybe the day before. You can talk to them from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. Just want to make sure I super reiterate that so you know and you can get the results that you're looking for if you actually do it the right way. So the best attempt time. So when you are talking to, let's say, more so maybe new people that you're trying to add in your database that maybe they don't know you that well, that relationship is not there. So let's say, for example, an open house lead, an online internet lead, right? Those are people that don't really know you. Maybe they met you at the open house, but they don't know you. You haven't built that relationship with them yet. And we're going to talk about building that credibility in the next section. So no worries. But your goal should be reaching out to them about 6 to 9 times. You should have your call attempts should be about 6 to 9 times trying to get in touch with them because most internet leads, they will not respond probably with the first couple of phone calls. But then when they see that you continuously are reaching out, then they will go ahead and say, okay, ooh, this person really must be serious. That's how you're building out that credibility, right? So your goal is to reach out to them, continuously reach out to these internet leads or people that don't really know you 6 to 9 times. Most realtors actually give up after 2 to 3 times, and they're wondering why they're not getting the results that they would like. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to talk to you guys before this section wraps up a little bit more about, internet leads or leads that, people that you just met. We're going to talk about that the numbers in terms of like that turnover rate, right? The conversion rate for those individuals. So that's what you have to call that many times because the sale usually doesn't happen on that first call, usually happens on the follow-up. Remember what I said in the scheduling section? 90% of closed deals actually happen in the follow-up. Now, your goal should be about 4 hours each week, focus phone calls to people in your immediate network / your database already, okay? These are people you've already called. So we said in the last slide that you want to return the calls from about 11 to 4 p.m. You should also have a goal each week to dedicate about 4 hours to people that's already in your database, okay? Essentially, this is a follow-up, touch bases, checking in, seeing if they need anything. That's the goal of those calls. So you want to schedule at least 4 hours each week on those individuals. It's good. You want to make sure you're not forgetting them because you're calling new people every single day, right?